1-inning deficit. But last at bats, all that mattered. Espinosa! The Nats lead 9-6. 2-2 pitch. Harper gets a breaking ball. And you can kiss that baby goodbye. Today, Stephen Strasburg looks to pick up win number 12. And along the way, punch out some Marlins. Well, they are coming into the ballpark today, and it is one of those situations where Michael Morse seems bigger than life. It's his bobblehead day, and this Nationals ball club seems a little bigger than life. What do they have in store for us today? Bob and FP trying to win 3 out of 4 now against a ball club that has tormented the Nats over the years. So not feeling very sorry for Florida, and good to see some power of the home runs flying out of here.
Yeah, it's good to see those low 10s after those guys hit those home runs. It's what the Nats have been doing, kind of throwing it back old school style. But how about Adam LaRoche? Last 12 games, 19 for 44, 432 average, 7 home runs, 14 RBIs. That's right, 7 home runs his last 12 games. And how about Danny Espinosa making the errors last night, making up for it with 1 swing of the bat, and 2 guys in Espinosa and Harper that have had a little scuffle lately, coming through big, and who knows what those 1 swing of the bat leads to. Maybe it locks both of those guys in.
And when you have great pitching, you don't have to hit a lot of home runs to be really successful. Look at that. 25 out of 30 when they hit 2. 23 out of 40 when they simply hit 1. And a lot of those are solo home runs. So it's a great combination the way this ball club's working together right now. Stephen Strasburg in the heat. There's been a couple of bumps in the road for him on days like this season. But he's been pretty dominant against Miami and Florida during his career.
Yeah, you're going to see a bounce back from Strasburg today. Last time out against the Phillies, not very good. But in 4 starts after giving up 4+ earned runs, he's 3-0 with a 1.13 ERA. So look for some more mound presence, some positive body language from Strasburg, and look for him to attack the strike zone with that fastball.
And maybe a repeat of July 15th, the 4 Miami, and he took on Nolasco that day. 6 innings for Steven, no runs on 6 hits. He walked 1, struck out 7, and he could make this a nice homestand for the hot Nats, who never give up until the last out. On Masson, brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. And by Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. And we're expecting Strasburg to be bringing some heat in this one today. I want to tell you, folks, in 7 or 8 years of Nationals baseball, when the team takes the field now, it's the loudest crowds we've ever had here at the ballpark. No longer do we hear those little pockets of fans who root for the other team. Visit Trane.com for an independent Trane comfort specialist dealer near you. It's hard to stop a Trane. Look at that breeze whipping up. It is blowing from right to left. It's 91 degrees, and the humidity is okay under clear skies. Marlins are down to 14th, that is, in the National League at hitting. They're 15th in runs and 13th in home runs. Carlos Lia is hot. On a 10-game streak, he is 17 for 34. Jose Reyes, we feature him today, but we have featured him every day. He's on a 23-game hitting streak. So if you can stop those two guys, you've got a great chance to beat the Marlins. Strasburg has 3 out of 4 decisions in 6 starts and a 1.82 career ERA against Miami.
Yeah, coming off a rough one last time out against the Phils, took the 8-0 loss, allowed 6 runs on 8 hits in just 4 innings, struck out 3, walked 1. Gave up a couple of home runs, one to Kevin Franzen and an inside-the-park job to Jimmy Rollins through 65 pitches, 40 for strikes. So 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, curve change is what the Marlins will see from Strasburg. In time for our Mazda defensive alignment today. Morse, Harper, Worth in the outfield. Espinoza, Zimmerman on the left side. Lombardozzi, LaRoche on the right side. And Jesus Flores gets the nod behind the plate. Mazda, engineered for the few who care about what they drive and the way it makes them feel, because if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building.
16-year veteran and the crew chief, Fieldon Cobrath, has the plate. Lance Barksdale, Adrian Johnson, Mike Muchlinski around the bases. Brian Peterson steps in, and Strasburg screams in a fastball at 96. We're underway at 136. Peterson in this series 3 for 7 with a walk, still batting 197. And Strasburg goes with another fastball. Marlins are hitting .243 as a team, and now only the Cubs have scored fewer runs in the National League. And a ball cracked to short. Danny Espinosa takes it eye high for the out.
And Peterson swinging the bat in this series. Big game last night. Coming out swinging today, a bullet for a leadoff out.
Hey, the Marlins, you know, they're just kind of fighting for jobs, trying to make an impression on the organization, and they are swinging the bats pretty well these days, even though they don't have any power because Hanley Ramirez is gone. And if Carlos Lee, who has only 6 home runs, doesn't hit a home run, maybe it's got to be Jose Reyes, who has 7. Here's Scott Cousins, who has 1, and he's batting $152, and Strasburg ahead of him. He has come out firing here. 95 on that high heater, and the count's 0-2.
Pretty good run on this 2-seamer. This going away from Cousins at 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's a big key, 95. But if it's moving, Strasburg a lot tougher. Major league hitters aren't impressed with straight pitches that go mid-90s. Astros underway at Atlanta. They're facing Chris Medlin today, batting in the top of the first. And that's low and inside. Jesus Flores gets the behind-the-plate assignment today, and he slides to his right for that one.
And that was the pitch that haunted Strasburg last time out. Never really got a feel for the changeup. They were a lot like that first one right there. He bounced a few.
2-2 pitch. And that ball hit well, right field. Scott Cousins has an extra base hit. Jason Worth will retrieve it and gets it back in with a strong throw. So Worth in right and Harper in center today. And the Marlins, with 2 hot hitters coming up, have a runner in scoring position.
Well, as a hitter, if you miss with a changeup like that, obviously you have to respect the fastball. Cousins all over the heater. Good velocity, but right out over the plate, barrel to the baseball. 1 for 1 with a double. That ball was hit hard.
Jose Reyes, 35 hits during his 23-game hitting streak, and he's batting .376 over that time, flirting with .290 now. And from the left side, he's at .308. In this series, he is 8 for 14 in 3 games with a couple of stolen bases, and he has scored 6 runs.
So if the fastball is around 95 and the changeup is around 90, and you throw a pitch 93 for a first pitch strike to Reyes, call it a BP fastball because it had the same action as the fastball and the change.
Yeah, and that's just a term because his BP is a lot harder than everybody else's. So Harper sprints back to grab it. That's a big out the way Jose Reyes has been going, and that'll be 2 down with Carlos Lee coming up. And this will really be a fun matchup today because Carlos Lee is a big power hitter who doesn't strike out much, only 27 times all year, and he's 2 for 7 career against Strasburg with an RBI. In this series, El Caballo is 4 for 11 with 5 RBIs. He's been hit by a pitch and he's walked, so he and Reyes have been all over the bases. And he's on a streak, as we told you, where he has 17 hits in his 10 games. But you would think that playing in a cozy ballpark, left field like Houston, even moving to a pitcher's paradise like Miami, he'd still have more than that total of home runs, 6 on the year. 5 of them, though, since coming over. And so he's hitting .308 as a Marlin. Pardon me, 1 home run as a Marlin, 5 of his 6 in Houston.
Yeah, the 2-seamer's been nice from Strasburg here in the first. Good late movement. Commanding it well.
I don't know, he just looks free and easy, and the ball's really exploding out of his hands. Time was given, and that's why Steven stopped.
Well, he's checking Cousins on second base, so when he turned his head to go, he had no idea that time was called. Jesus Flores stopping him.
Big crowd clapping on 0-2 here in the first inning. But again, a guy who is hard to strike out. Carlos Lee is a remarkable guy when it comes to that. He hasn't struck out more than 60 times in a season in the last 5 or 6 years. And a 1-2 jams him and he fights it off.
Well, he's wanting a balk out of Strasburg. He's talking right now to Mike Muchlinski, the third base umpire, and saying that he's not stopping.
Ozzie is?
Yeah. He just did the sign of he's just rolling through his stop and that he's not coming set. And a good set right there from Strauss.
Swing and a foul tip as Lee just got a piece of it. And we've heard that Ozzie makes a habit of talking to various people around the infield these days.
Yeah, it was all over Kurt Suzuki last night throughout the ball game, telling him we're going to run on you. You can't stop us. Your pitchers are too slow. Wow. You're not going to throw anybody out. And there's a little game. I feel like Ozzie always takes it to the next level.
I didn't know managers did that these days.
Worrying about the other team sometimes more than his own.
Swing and a miss. Tough guy to strike out, and Strasburg gets his first K of the day. Now the Nats go to work against Ricky Nolasco. in the league in that. They're 8th in runs, up to 5th in home runs after that barrage last night. So check out this powerful lineup and that of Dodge at Dodge.com, or schedule a test drive at your authorized Dodge dealer and experience a world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. The guy that didn't even get noticed last night, Ryan Zimmerman, keeps on rolling. 377 in July and August. And at home against Florida and Miami pitching, hitting 380 against these guys, and a big-time presence in the number 3 spot. Ricky Nolasco has had more success against the Nats than any other team. 15 starts, a 9-4 record with a 4.14 ERA.
He's allowed at least 4 runs in each of his last 4 starts. He's taken a loss in all of those outings. His ERA over that span, 7.48. Took a 10-8 loss last time out against the Braves. In 5 innings, gave up 4 runs on 7 hits. Struck out 6 and walked 4 through 105 pitches, 69 for strikes. So fastball with some good run on it in the low 90s. Slider curve split to go with it.
He's given up 5 home runs in his last 3 starts. Lombardozzi in the leadoff spot today. Steve in this series, 3 for 13 with an RBI. He's 1 for 3 career against Nolasco with 1 run batted in. They play him straight away on the infield, around to the left beyond that. And he pulls that ball. 1-2.
We had that graphic in the open, the Nats record with home runs, 25-5 with 2 or more, 48-22 with a home run. And Nolasco's given up 15 of those this year.
Lombardozzi fouls it straight back. Ricky Nolasco career 72-61, 170 a start. He deals with Bryce Harper. And Davey Johnson said this morning, looked like Bryce took out a little frustration on that last swing last night when the home run went upper deck. That is a 2-hopper charged by Donovan Solano for the first out.
Let's check out the defense for the Fish behind Nolasco. Peterson, Ruggiano, Cousins in the outfield. Reyes Dobbs on the left side of the infield. Solano and Lee on the right side. John Buck doing the catching once again. Day game after a night game. I would say there was a little frustration taken out, maybe in more ways than one for that home run. After what happened down in South Florida with the pine tar in his bat, plus the recent scuffle that he's been going through, he got a lot out in one swing.
And with one swing, Bryce achieved a little symmetry in his numbers. Got the home runs up to 10, got the RBIs up to 30. Most guys his age are happy to have 10 home runs playing for the freshman team on a campus somewhere. One ball, one strike. Off speed, Ricky Nolasco misses low. Harper's 0 for 3 against him the previous time they met. So runs, home runs, and RBIs no lower than the top 4. That's a good fastball in there by Nolasco. Real key to Ricky, I was told by some of the Florida guys, watch the velocity of the fastball early. When his mechanics are right, he'll go 91, 92. If he's not getting over the top of the ball, he'll be 87, 88, and then he gets in trouble. So he's looking pretty good so far. Then he pulls the string, 81 on Harper. Good changeup to strike him out. Early game notes for you on this Sunday. The Nats, well, we talked about the 2-out magic. How about that? 14 of their 19 runs. Ricky is struggling since the All-Star break. We mentioned the home runs his last 3 starts. And with a Nats homer, it's almost a guaranteed Curly W. Ryan has 10 of those in July and August in this series. 4 for 10, 2 RBIs, 3 walks. 10 career hits and 3 homers against Ricky Nolasco. But evidently Nolasco at times has a hard time getting over the top of that pitching rubber on his way. And it causes him to lose velocity on the fastball. So he's looking pretty good right now. Way inside, and Ryan skips out. That interesting series, Pirates at Cincinnati, wraps up this weekend. Reds got a run in the first, and then Neil Walker hit a homer in the second. The Bucks lead the Reds 2-1. They're trying to salvage one. Cincinnati's opened up a 5.5 game lead in the Central. Nats by 3 in the East over Atlanta. Zimmerman pulls it hard and well foul. Ryan grew up down in the Norfolk area, and seafood very close by. He loves the Marlins. He's always said, well, again, I mean, this ballpark, the one down in Florida, the new ballpark down there, he just likes Miami pitching. Gets to see a lot of it. Good take on a breaking ball.
And that's the curve from Nolasco. It'll be in the 70s, the slider in the 80s. And that split change he features in the upper 70s, low 80s.
Adam LaRoche, boy, you'd love to see him bat against a right-hander early the way he's going.
Love to see him bat against a lefty.
That too.
He has been owning left-handers the last 3 or 4 games.
Way outside. So down in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, the Hampton Roads area, they get a little closer to the edge of their seats as Ryan works it to 3-2 here early. Checked in at 279. LaRoche 275, waiting to see what happens here. Ryan will bounce it over the mound. Solano hurries and Zimmerman beats it out. It's an infield hit with 2 down. And every time the Nats do something with 2 down, other managers get very concerned.
A good hustle right here. Ryan Zimmerman smelling the knock. Sometimes day game after a night game, those legs feel a little bit heavy, and it's tough to get down the line. Zim smelling the hit all the way. Beats the throw from Solano, and there goes the no-hitter.
You remembered because it wasn't a home run today.
Yeah, home runs lock me up every time. I get so excited that somebody went deep for the first hit, I forget to say it.
Here's Adam LaRoche in this series. 3 homers, 4 RBIs. He's 5 for 12. And in his last 13 games, he's driven in 14 runs on 7 homers. He's in the top 3 in the league now with 23 home runs. Shift is on. Pitch is a high strike.
So with your logic for Zimmerman, he lives by the ocean. He likes to play against the Marlins. If I live on a boat, would I play good against the Pirates?
R is my answer.
I'm trying to figure that one out still.
It was just bad Sunday afternoon conversation just to get things started. You know, just trying to break the ice on a day game. Going a little bit.
How about that?
Wow.
That's a good homestand. We might have to force him to get on the plane today after the game. He's going to want to stay in that white uni.
Target in. Way in. Ball 2.
And we've seen the inner half of the plate right now is closed. I mean, you could try to get in there all you want. You could even try that 2-seam fastball, the front hip job, and try to run it back, but he's so slow with the feet and quick with the hands. Tough to get in on right now. Game moving slow.
13 career hits against Nolasco. No homers, but 3 RBIs. Three and 1. And that's Ricky Nolasco's 20th pitch of the first inning.
And this is a perfect example of how a hot streak stays hot. Everybody knows you're swinging the bat well. They're trying to pitch to a corner, trying to make the perfect pitch. And you find yourself in 2-0, 3-1 counts because of that. That's how you keep that hot streak going for a good month, month and a half, 2 months, maybe a whole season.
Zimmerman short lead on a 3-1, way inside. And the Nats have 2 runners with 2 down. And here comes Mr. Bobblehead today, Michael Morse, who more importantly is on a 13-game hitting streak.
Well, even though it put Ryan Zimmerman in scoring position, I think if You ask Ricky Nolasco right now. He likes his sinker versus a right-hander, and Michael Morse better than the hot-hitting Adam LaRoche. And that was a little pitch-around piece to get to Morse, I think.
You know, Michael's hitting streak has been interesting for the last 4 games or so. He's just been getting one hit to keep the thing alive. We're waiting for the explosion. He did collect an RBI last night. So during his 13-game streak now, 18 hits, 10 runs batted in. And that's on the outside corner. 91, perfect location.
Well, they wanted it in on his hands, and they left it out over the plate.
Big gap in left center. They've been playing Michael toward the other alley, over toward the scoreboard. And he tried to turn on that inside pitch and tipped it. No balls, 2 strikes. Which one's the real Michael Morse?
I don't even know.
I have no idea.
Maybe the one with the eye black, since it's a day game.
0-2 pitch. Big breaking ball away, and that shows you what can happen when a pitcher gets a quality hitter. 0-2. Nats will strand a couple. Long first inning for Nolasco. Right now, so it's peeking in and out here at the ballpark on a hot day. The second inning coming up. It's presented by Luna. Call for the Luna double and get your second room of flooring free at 877-241 Luna. Call today. Big crowd at the Red Loft, Red Porch area today. Great place to have a cold one, hang out with your friends, watch some baseball. In fact, Christina and Dan Kunkel were out there this morning. Working, of course. Top of the second, Greg Dobbs leads off. Steven Strasburg first inning, 16 pitches and 12 strikes.
Oh, crowd was great last night. Loudest I've heard it here at Nats Park. Totally into it. And we touched on it last night. You get the dog days of August as a player. You're feeling some aches and pains. You're feeling some injuries. And maybe you don't have as much energy as you did early in the season. You come home and play in front of a crowd like that, it's a shot of adrenaline. And when you talk about the games coming up, they're going to need the fans to be like they were last night on a consistent basis. This place was rocking. And on the other side, Carp, when you go into a ballpark and you know that there's that kind of atmosphere, if you're the visiting team, you start to feel it on defense when the home team starts to rally. You get tight and you say, uh-oh, here they come. Going to be a big part of this whole thing coming down the stretch. Big time home field advantage last night.
Well, Dobbs probably thought he was getting a fastball. Strasburg has missed with a changeup, a curve, and now a fastball. and goes through. Greg Dobbs is 8 for 21 over his 6-game streak. And he's 2 for 7 career against Strasburg. So Stevens been kind of pitching him defensively here, but he gets a fastball in there. And now it's 3-1. Justin Ruggiano is next, and then Donovan Solano for the Marlins. And a fly ball off the end of the bat. Michael Morse is right there down the left field line to grab it. So a good bounce back for Strasburg. Place a deposit on a season ticket package for next year. That's a full season ticket plan. And you'll receive postseason ticket purchase priority if and when the Nats are in the playoffs. Go to nationals.com/2013 or call 202-675-NETS. It expires September 15th. Some restrictions apply. Here's Justin Ruggiano. Strasburg gets ahead of him. 30-year-old outfielder in the minor leagues forever, getting a chance to play at the big league level. 248 and 105 at bats with Tampa Bay last year. He started the season in the Houston organization and hit .325 at Oklahoma City. They're AAA. Got traded to Miami right before the Nats visited Marlins Park on Memorial Day. Hitting .350. Strasburg blows him away. Fastball up and away. Strikeout number 2. Bringing the heat, Cholula hot sauce on the pitch track.
A perfect sequence from Strasburg to Ruggiano. Went first pitch fastball down and in, 95, hit a spot. Then tried to repeat in there, missed. Threw an 88-mile-an-hour changeup for a swing through strike and then climb the ladder. Good command of all the pitches right there.
Donovan Solano sees Strasburg for the first time. And this young man's on a 4-game hitting streak, 5 for 16. He has 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 walks in this series. And a breaking ball way outside, 2-1. Diamondbacks 3 in the first at Philadelphia. Roy Halladay beat Arizona last night.
Oh, Arizona's playing some good baseball. Second stop on the road trip for the Nationals.
They're only 3 back of the Giants right now. There's going to be some fireworks in the first 7 games of that road trip. The Nats have always hit well in Houston. Hitters Park, ball carries well. And the same goes for Phoenix at Chase Field. They closed the roof on that thing. And the Nats have hit for great power there over the years. It's going to be an interesting trip. And then you go to the pitcher's paradise in San Francisco. That ball driven up the middle by Solano. Look at Bryce Harper. You talk about playing shallow, using speed, and taking away a 2-out hit. This team can play some defense.
Bryce Harper to end the second inning, the top of the second. And look at the jump on this. Good scouting, good positioning, good jump. And when you see a center fielder do that, take base hits away, that's what pitchers want. They make a bad pitch and it goes over your head, that's their fault. But if they make a good pitch and it's in front of you and you can take a base hit away, that's the kind of stuff your pitcher loves. And that reminds me of a center fielder for the Atlanta Braves that used to take hits away all the time in center field. The best defensive center fielder I ever played against, Andrew Jones. He used to do that on a daily basis, play shallow, come get low line drives and take hits away. Great play.
And a generation before that, a guy named Paul Blair with Baltimore. Just before him, a kid named Curt Flood with St. Louis. I mean, guys who can really move and not afraid to play shallow. FP, you know this. Not all center fielders want to do that. They're afraid to play shallow, some guys.
Well, some guys don't go back on the ball very well, so they like to play deep and take extra base hits away. And it takes a lot of courage for a center fielder to stand in there shallow, knowing that something could be hit in the gap. It cuts down your angles. But I think all good center fielders do play shallow and take base hits away.
Ooh, just foul as Jason Worth was way out ahead of an off-speed pitch. How about this man since coming back? 4 for 8, an RBI, 5 walks, 3 runs. And Jason Worth is hitting .292. He's raised his batting average about 16 points since he came back off the DL.
That's
3
hard.
for 5 in this series.
It's hard to do this time of year.
Yeah. Even if you've been out for a while. So he's 3 for 5 in this series with 4 walks. Almost as many walks as strikeouts this season. 2-1 pitch, target away. Not away far enough, and he got the sweet spot on that one. And Jason Worth is 5 out of 9 since being reactivated.
He's been using a shorter, lighter bat since he's gotten back in the lineup, come back from the injury. And I would be surprised even when that wrist becomes strong again, back to 100%, if he ever goes back to a bigger bat. I mean, he is controlling that thing through the strike zone so nice, getting the barrel of the baseball so consistently. Why change?
Yeah.
Another good at-bat from Worth.
Here's an interesting matchup today. Danny Espinosa, 0 for 8 career against Nolasco with an RBI. And Danny gets hit with the very first pitch. It'll be 2 on, nobody out. He'll be hit for the 10th time this year.
Didn't try to hit him. It was a slider. If that's what you're thinking because of the home run last night. You don't drill people with 84-mile-an-hour sliders. Just trying to go in. Missed his spot. And first and second, nobody out. The Nats will take it.
So the number 8 hitter is Jesus Flores. Infield back looking for 2. Good hitting pitcher. About to come on deck.
That was late.
Wow. It's the
Very
second
late.
time Field & Coburn has given a late timeout to a hitter. I mean, a pitcher can get hurt on that. Wow.
Yeah, Flores put his hand up. You do not have to grant the request for a timeout. That's on the umpire's discretion. Just because you ask for it as a hitter, you don't always get it. And that was pretty late.
Jesus started to gather a few hits before Kurt Suzuki was picked up. And we'll see if a couple of days of rest. He's only played 1 game in the series so far. We'll see if that helps him here. Quickens that bat a little bit. Hits that ball high in the air to deep center. Ruggiano back. You know Worth is tagging. And both runners will tag. And safe at second. A productive at bat for Jesus Flores. And good base running on the tail end of it.
And Espinosa's hurt at second base.
Danny went in hard, hands first.
Well, Lee Kuntz going to come out and check Espinoza. Maybe it was a hand going to the base. Pretty good throw from Ruggiano, all the way on the warning track, right on the money to second. And was it his right hand on the left cleat? Check out his right hand. Right here, cleat coming around. I think he stepped on his hand.
Then it looks like Espinoza's left shoulder went into Reyes' left knee as well. There are all kind of things going on there.
And the right hand, Davey Johnson, you see him showing right there, went past the bag. And was it Reyes covering or Solano? Whoever it was, I think the cleat stepped on.
Solano. Probably.
Yeah, watch the left foot. Right on his hand, bam. Oh, and he also got a knee to the chin. So shoulder to the knee, knee to the chin, cleat to the hand. A lot of things going on right there.
Good thing it wasn't Pete Rose and Bud Harrelson.
You love a guy playing hard like that. That's a heads-up play by Espinoza. Deep fly ball. You see the outfielder decelerating and going away from the play. You know he's going to catch it. You tag up and advance. And it's a big play when you got a pitcher that can hit like Strasburg.
Yeah. Danny just said, I'm okay. Tell your brother hi for us. Jonathan, of course, catching in the Nats organization. And here's Steven Strasburg, who has 11 hits, 5 RBIs this year. So some base running by the Nats to send 2 runners aboard ahead 90 feet on a fly ball that didn't reach the warning track. Corner infielders are in for a possible bunt. Strasburg does have 2 sacrifice bunts this year, 6 in his career, but I mean, Davey loves it when this guy swings away.
And if you're Worth, you're going here, you're going here, you're not going here, you're not going there. And you got to read a comebacker. That's the tough part if you're on third right here. The ground ball back to the pitcher.
There's a drive to right center. Strasburg puts the Nats on top by 2. His 6th and 7th RBIs of the year.
He can hit. I mean, if there's a better hitting pitcher in the big leagues, tell me about it. 333 before that swing. Extension, head down to the baseball. Base hit to right, 2 RBIs. The hits keep coming for Steven Strasburg. I mean, I don't know that there's any pitcher in the big league that's helped himself more at the plate than that guy.
I tell you, when I watch him hit, I'm having flashbacks to when I was a kid. Watching Gibson and Drysdale, Ferguson, Jenkins, some of the other guys from that era who could really swing the bat. I mean, guys who walk up their FP and they have power to go with the stroke. I mean, that ball was hit extremely hard.
You see him shaking no right there with a smile on his face to Carlos Lee? Probably saying, hey, it's that easy, huh?
And then a take on a ball low and inside to Lombardozzi, 1 ball, 1 strike. So a single hit batter. Fly ball that moves them up, and then a base hit, and the Nats are in business here. There's inside again. And now the Nats have Ricky Nolasco with 1 out in the 2nd inning, approaching 40 pitches on a hot afternoon. Bryce Harper struck out swinging first time. And a 2-1 taken upstairs.
I don't think Davey Johnson would do it, but in a 3-1 count with a contact guy, Carlos Lee is playing behind Steven Strasburg about 7 steps. I mean, you could start him right here.
Well, for a moment, it looked like he could walk to second base, but that pitch was called a strike. It was borderline inside.
Definitely start him right now.
1 out.
And Lee going to take a couple steps and stand right behind Steven. That grabbed his pants. Did you see that? He stuck his hand in his back pocket and was holding him there. Oh, Carlos Lee having fun at the ballpark.
Anybody who can make Steven Strasburg smile during a game in which he's pitching.
Yeah. Good point. I mean, he stuck his right hand right in his back pocket and said, "You're not going anywhere." Good stuff.
3-2 now. Lee backs up. And Lombardozzi can walk to first, and Strasburg can jog down to second. 4 runners in the inning now, and now you've got some big guns coming up. That's Ricky Nolasco's second walk of the day. He's also hit a batter, and Randy St. Clair may be visiting soon.
Muxley puts his right hand in the back pocket of Strasburg right here. He says, "You're not going anywhere." Don't touch me. I like to see guys having fun. Why wouldn't you? Playing a kid's game, getting paid in front of 40,000 people. Have fun.
Bryce Harper worked over on off-speed stuff by Nolasco first time. Braves have an early run at home against Houston. They scored that in the bottom of the second on David Ross, 6th home run of the year, so he's spelling Brian McCann today. Tape measure job last night.
He got the off-speed pitch close to him. Supposed to be down and away. It was up and in. And as they say in the dugout, that was a far one.
That ball gets away, and the runners will hold as it was up and into Harper. Sound like a bunch of kids in that dugout.
Well, they are. 25 kids having fun. 21 games over 500 in first place. Playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. If you're in a red uni right now and you're not having fun, it's some serious problems.
2-0 count. And Harper will take that fastball outside. Last night's homer, Christina has more.
There's no doubt Bryce Harper definitely feeds off of the crowd here. He said last night, finally the crowd got going crazy. It really gets me going and gets me in that locked in mode, I guess you could kind of say. And he's just hoping to build off of that. He said the past couple games he's been taking swings like that, but just not connecting, trying to do a little too much, chasing bad pitches. But when that crowd gets going, Bryce Harper hears it and definitely feeds off of it.
And he's prime time. We've talked about it this year. The bigger the stage, the better he plays. And it's exactly the point I was making in the first inning. That crowd gets into it. You get those goosebumps going as a home player. It fires you up. And you want to take loud and make it louder.
Half of his RBIs here, 4 of his 10 home runs here. 3 balls, 1 strike. And he slams that off the facing of the Marlins dugout.
I think he was going for Ozzie right there. How about that? Oh, goodness.
Now it's 3-2. Target is in. The pitch is hit into right field for a base hit. The bases are loaded. Strasburg stopped at third, and Ryan Zimmerman is coming up with 3 men aboard and 1 out.
So you stay back on a pitch and almost foul one off Ozzie Guillen, who checked your bat in Miami. And then you get a ball out over the plate and rifle it into right for a single. That's the stuff that legends are made of.
So Ryan Zimmerman with an infield hit bounced over the mound first time. And it's too early for a knockout blow in the second inning, but the Nats could deliver a serious punch to the gut here in their quest to take 3 out of 4 and make this a winning homestand. So Ricky Nolasco off the stretch here. Zimmerman 11 out of 37 career against this right-hander. They play him straight away. First pitch breaking ball. It's a good one. One of Ricky's better pitches today. So at third base, Strasburg, who singled in 2. Lombardozzi then walked, and then Harper got the base hit on a 3-2 pitch. So behind Strasburg, great speed with the 2 trail runners. Zimmerman lines it, and that is a double play. Lombardozzi didn't stay home on a line drive in the infield.
I think it's just an out, Carp. They're just calling it an out, and they're saying that Reyes dropped it on purpose. No double play. The inning stays alive.
Got it.
You can't intentionally drop a line drive.
I think,
Smart play by Reyes to try to get the double play, but if he would have simply caught it and thrown it to his second baseman, he would have had the double play.
So you can't do that in a line drive? Because I've seen guys do that over the years.
If the umpire deems it intentional, that you intentionally dropped it.
Got it.
He calls the play out.
So the batter's out. Everybody stays on their bases.
And Ozzy's argument right now is, how can you tell that he dropped it on purpose? It's the umpire's judgment. Adrian Johnson thinking that Reyes dropped it on purpose to turn the double play. But the irony in that is if he would have just caught it and flipped it to Solano, it was a double play. And now you have to face the hottest hitter on the planet, Adam LaRoche.
Yeah, because Lombardozzi was definitely far enough off the bag to get doubled off. This could get interesting because this is an inning-ending play in Ozzie Guillen's mind, and he's going to be upset the way the Nats have been scoring with 2 outs.
Let's check it out. You be the judge. Did he drop this line drive on purpose? That's what Adrian Johnson is saying. One of the better fielders in the league. Line drive right at him. Hot shot off the bat of Zimmerman. Yes, he did drop that on purpose. Yeah. Had it, took his glove to the ground. Watch this. He caught it. Now he's going to drop it. It's a good call by Johnson. He nailed it.
Yeah, because he actually had he made the exchange to his bare hand and in essence dropped it with the bare hand. That was interesting. So presence of mind by Reyes. But he might have been better off, as you say, just catching it and going 6-4.
That's thinking too much. Catch it, throw it to your second baseman. You're hitting right now.
So the Nats are still alive. And when you're playing this ball club and there are 2 outs, you are far from out of the woods on this one. LaRoche walked his first time today. Off speed, Nolasco goes on the first pitch.
Right now, Jose Reyes is out there hoping that Ricky Nolasco bails him out.
LaRoche base hit. This will double the lead. Harper flying to third. The Nationals lead 4-0. And Adam LaRoche has 71 RBI.
Wow. Well, that turns out to be a huge play in this baseball game. The inning is extended. LaRoche is up, and he's just been seeing the ball so big, squaring everything up. Clutch 2-out RBI once again for the Nationals. We'll get the pitch clicker out for the Adam LaRoche RBI meter because that's 2 more. Wow. I mean, they're coming fast and frequent.
Adam LaRoche now has 16 RBIs in his last 14 games.
Unbelievable.
Michael Morse gets a 2-out chance. First time up, he fell behind 0-2, and Nolasco was able to hook him on a pitch way outside. Former Nat Chad Godin is throwing in the Marlins bullpen. The starter has thrown 51 pitches in getting 5 outs so far.
That's the 5th consecutive start where Nolasco has given up 4 runs.
And Morse will pop it up to the right side. Out goes Solano. In comes Cousins. And the Nats will pick up a couple as Adam LaRoche is delivering one more time. It is 4-0 now. Are steamed in a good way. Their ball club is up 4-0 after 2 on 5 base hits already. Third Eye Blind is coming, and that's on the next homestand. The Mets will be here 2 weeks from last night. 7:05 game. Free post-game Third Eye Blind concert. Tickets start at $10. Go to nationals.com/concert to check it out. Some restrictions apply, and you have to have a game ticket to remain for the concert. Adam LaRoche is now approaching .280 on the batting average. And his 71 RBIs right now have him in the top 6 in the league. It's amazing what he's doing.
Well, people are asking me, when do we start the LaRoche MVP talk? We've been talking about it for about 4 or 5 days now. If you end up winning your division, you're going to get a lot of recognition. There's usually one guy you point to. And with a good month or so to go, two months or so to go, a lot of time to pad those stats. Why not? 23 and 71, average climbing every day. Who knows where he's going to end up? There's a guy in Pittsburgh that's going to get a lot of votes, but why not him?
I can just hear his quote when somebody asks him about it. He'll say, "Aw, shucks." It's the kind of guy Adam LaRoche is.
Well, he'll just say, "I care about winning. I don't care about any of that
Let's just
stuff.
win.
I just want to get to the postseason and get a ring." And that's what he's all about.
1 ball, 1 strike. Strasburg back to work. High tight fastball to John Buck, the catcher. 2 for 8 in this series with an RBI. Buck hitting a .174. But he's 2 for 7 career against Steven. Pitcher on deck.
You know, the only thing I can keep thinking is every time I see LaRoche do something great, his son Drake is here every single day, and
he's going to miss some school.
His son must be just going, "My dad is a stud." I mean, how cool would that be if your dad was Adam LaRoche, just hitting home runs, driving in runs? My dad is a stud.
Nice. Well, let's talk about him some more. Your mission, our commitment. Visit agilitycorp.com. Agility with league leaders. And since the 24th of July for the last couple of weeks, first in almost everything. And that includes what he's done today. It's amazing. Here's Ricky Nolasco. Pretty good hitting pitcher. 6 hits this year, 4 RBIs. But right now, got to be a little gassed. He's thrown 52 pitches in 2 innings. And the Marlin bullpen's already been active today. In Strasburg, now Ricky's got to sit there and look at 95 coming in. Stevens' first 2 innings, by the way, 31 pitches, 20 strikes. And Nolasco fouls it into the seats. And a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball gets him. Front door. Strasburg fanning 4 today, and he's struck out 3 of the last 4 batters. $37 more for the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health, where young people go for great medical treatment with their families at their sides. So $37 more thanks to the Washington area Toyota dealers. Top of the order, Brian Peterson lined hard to Danny Espinosa to start the game. Brian Peterson's had some good swings in this series. He's 3 for 8. He'll pull that ball. Lombardozzi right there. And the best thing a pitcher can do after getting some runs, 1, 2, 3. He's retired 8 in a row. Internet at Cox.com today. Here's our game summary. Jason Worth keeps getting on base, and he's in the middle of everything these days. Adam LaRoche is driving everybody in, and even Steven Strasburg chips in now. 3 good innings pitched and a 2-run single.
Yeah, current offensive numbers for Strasburg: .353 average, .421 on base percentage, .558 slugging, 7 RBIs. That leads all major league pitchers, and this guy is the hottest hitter on the planet. Another big 2-out knock for the Nationals. That's been the story of this series. 2-out RBIs.
Strasburg, by the way, has reassumed #1 in the league in strikeouts. R.A. Dickey was a couple ahead of him until Steven took the mound today. So here comes Jason Worth leading off an inning again. And that breaking ball stays up high. Jason pulled a ball with authority through the left side to start that 4-run rally last inning. And now he's trying to drop one into right, but on rushing to get it, Scott Cousins.
Another good at-bat from Worth.
Reading my mind, he is in mid-season form, which sounds funny for August, but for him, it's like the middle of May, if that. Hurt the first weekend of May, and then 3 months off. Next up is Danny Espinosa. The best thing Ricky Nolasco could get here would be a quick inning, just like Strasburg did. Dobbs on the grass at third, respecting the bunt. Espinosa will pull it to Hopper, Carlos Lee, and 2 very fast outs. So we'll see if Jesus Flores can do something here to extend this inning, give Strasburg a breather, although he's got to come out on deck. For the achiever in you, PNC Bank Solutions that help you achieve your financial goals. Eric Davis.
Making a comeback.
Not that Eric Davis.
All right.
This young man picked up from San Diego in the Alberto Gonzalez deal a couple of years ago. Eric Davis is from San Jose, went to Stanford. He's 23, 6'4", 200, and played as high as Harrisburg last year, went 5-7. Now Flores pops it up left side. Ball handled by Greg Dobbs, and the Nats go very quickly. So this ball game into the middle innings, the Nats by 4. Masson, brought to you by Hyundai. If it's stylish, intelligent, safe, and affordable, it's probably a Hyundai. Beautiful day for a game of catch or a walk or a little boating ride along the Potomac. What a beautiful day in Washington, D.C. Visit AFCEA.org, the Association for IT Pros. Here's Christina.
Thanks, Bob. Well, Danny Espinosa said it felt great to come through for his team last night. He said he's felt like he's been in situations all season long, and it finally worked for him. And I talked to Adam LaRoche about how big it was to see Danny hit that home run. Maybe not so much for the win, but just to see him getting going. And Adam LaRoche said it was huge because even if we lost, it's great to see Danny get a hit, get going, get back on track. He's such a big part of this team, and he's going to be here playing, whether it's second base or short. He's a big part of this. And Adam said, you know, Danny's the kind of kid that grinds through it. He's still up there hacking, not hanging his head and pouting. He's working in the cage every day trying to figure out what's going on with him. And Adam said, you know, I've been there before, struggling, but you run into one, and the next thing you know, you're seeing it good again. So hopefully that's all it took for Danny Espinosa last night.
Hey, one swing can turn around a guy's fortunes. Whole bunch of swings for that man. I chatted with Ian Desmond this morning. He's able to run. He's doing all his work in the weight room with his lower body. He'll be able to start throwing, he believes, next week. But it still sounds to me like a couple of weeks before he's swinging a bat. And, of course, with that oblique, the twisting of the torso, FP, is crucial. Now, Ian did stand at his locker and kind of flex back and forth. He said, I can do that now and not feel a thing. A couple of weeks ago, I could not. So he's on the mend, but it's not a quick process.
Was he doing a pose down for you? Flexing back and forth?
Yeah, we were flexing together.
All right,
actually.
that's creepy.
Yeah, he was admiring my Masson shirt.
It's good. It'd be good to have him back. There's not a whole lot you can do. You just got to let that thing heal, get back out there. The hard part is having confidence once you get back to let it rip.
Yeah. And then he said, you know, I think my timetable is a little different than the doctor's, so I probably shouldn't say too much about what I'm doing here, because you just cannot tempt fate with that injury.
That's admirable, and that's the competitive nature of an athlete, but that's the one injury where you actually listen to the doctor's timetable and then take some more time after that.
Strasburg gets Cousins on a ground ball to the right side. Little in-between hop for Lombardozzi, who throws out Scott Cousins. And he's the only man with a hit on Strasburg so far. That one-out double back in the first. Discover Kia's full lineup of high-quality, stylish, and dependable vehicles. To learn more, visit Kia.com. So Jose Reyes as the number 3 guy now. Look at that, 419. I'll tell you, Carlos Lee, some protection, huh?
He's just a good hitter. I don't think it matters who's hitting behind him.
Okay, just for the fun of it, you have a chance to get a leadoff guy for your ball club. Jimmy Rollins or Jose Reyes?
Ian Desmond.
Yeah, but Desmond's going to be on the ball club no matter what.
Well, Reyes is...
I got to go with this guy.
Well, Reyes is younger, of course.
Yeah, and he does more. And he's had his injury issues like Jimmy has the last couple of years. But I think when this guy is right, he might be one of the most 5 devastating guys in the league. And now he has a 24-game hitting streak. And, of course, that's the longest in either league this year. Robinson Cano, the Yankees, June 24th to the 20th of July, 23 games. So he stands alone as a hitting streak guy for this season. And here's Carlos Lee. Carlos struck out first time. Doesn't happen often. Only 28 times this year. Reyes has 2 bags in this series and 27 on the year. And this is one of those situations you're up by 4. Don't get too preoccupied with Jose Reyes. You want to keep him close. Keep the double play in order. But don't let it affect how effectively you pitch to a dangerous guy. Jose Reyes, by the way, is 3 stolen bases away from 400. So Strasburg makes it to the 50 pitch count here in the 4th. That'll be out of play down the right field side. Astros are playing the Braves tough suddenly this weekend. It's still a 1-0 game. Atlanta on top. Bottom of the 4th down there. David Ross a home run today. The Nats are 3 up on Atlanta, who were beaten by Luke Harrell, Justin Maxwell, and the Astros last night. J-Max had a 2-run homer in a 3-2 win. Reyes had the front foot out to the cut of that grass.
Well, just based on what Ozzie Guillen was yelling at Kurt Suzuki last night, that your pitchers are slow, we're going to run on you. I think word obviously spreading around the league that you can against the Nationals, but with the addition of Kurt Suzuki and maybe paying some more attention to runners like you've seen here in the last 3 or 4 games. Lots of throwovers, some pitch outs, speeding up some deliveries, changing rhythm, changing tempos. That's how you stop that whole thing. Strasburg doing a nice job right now of keeping Reyes close and keeping him in mind.
He started then stopped. Carlos Lee took a big rip and fouled it back 2-2.
Well, Strasburg was quick to the plate right there, and even if Reyes wanted to go, he couldn't. So instead of saying set for a long time, he changed his tempo, and watch how quick the big guy is to the plate. You're not going to have time to go on that at all. Even if he wanted to go, you can't.
Carlos Lee has bounced into 9 double plays this year. Reyes didn't have a big lead. Steven steps off. And right now, the thing you like about this inning is proceeding at Strasburg's pace, nobody else's. Runner holding, close. Ball 3. Flores tried to frame it.
Well, hit the spot. Good pitch, good location, fastball down and away. Did it catch the front corner of the plate? Didn't get the call.
Get to Nissan Summer Saving Days until September 4th. Choose Nissan.com. Hurry into your local Nissan dealer with the pitch track. Another step off. Here comes Flores.
That's a good trip by Jesus Flores. You want to make sure this 3-2 pitch. Probably going to tell Strasburg, hey, Reyes is running right here. Let's make a good pitch. What do you want to throw? And don't worry about that last pitch and that call you didn't get. This turns out to be a big spot right here, right now.
Three-two pitch with one out. He's running. High bouncer. Zimmerman, tough play. Good throw. Got him.
Now, when is the last time you've seen Ryan Zimmerman set his feet and make a throw? He had no choice right here, right? High chopper, you're caught in between, so he's got to play the big hop. Feet underneath him, perfect throw right on the money, over the top. Strike to LaRoche. Good play.
Yes. He almost looked like an outfielder setting himself to catch a ball on a sac fly, getting the feet in the right throwing position before the ball got there.
It almost looks strange seeing him set his feet and throw. We see him making so many plays on the run.
2 outs, runner in scoring position. And for the Marlins, it's up to Greg Dobbs, who's had a good series, 4 for 11 with an RBI. Trying to make the transition from pinch hitter to semi-regular player. Dobbs some really good years with the Phillies as a pinch batter, while Ross Gload was with the Marlins, and they kind of switched places. Gload a Philly for a while, and Dobbs has been in Florida the last couple of years. Strasburg goes right after him, some up and in gas. Crowd starting to pick up on the cadence here. And he bounces one. Flores blocks it. Then it hit the batter. Important thing was Jesus kept it in front. Reyes couldn't go anywhere.
Now we've seen this all year long from Jesus Flores. Blocks as good as anybody in baseball. Keeps it in front. Keeps Reyes at second base. That allows Strasburg to bounce another one if he wants to. He gets to third. Maybe you're worried about throwing a ball in the dirt.
Target is in. Pitch is well in there. Counts even 2-2. Justin Ruggiano is next. Strasburg, couple of ground ball outs in this inning. In fact, his last 3 have been on the ground. Keeping the ball down effectively, and there's another bouncer. Lombardozzi. Steven Strasburg doing some pitching today. He'll strike you out if he can, but if you make contact, you're not hitting it hard. He'll bat in a moment. Don't miss that. equestrian theme today. Aren't you supposed to jump over the pool of water?
Steeplechase, equestrian.
Evidently,
Tom.
The horses have been running well down at Monticello. Steven Strasburg is now 2 for 4 against Ricky Nolasco this year. Drove in, runs down there, and he's done it here too.
Yeah, the other way, right? Seeing him big, little RBI single down in Florida. Little smile at first base. Him and Carlos Lee are becoming BFFs down there at first base. And then another base hit to right field. You see the head drop from Nolasco. A couple of RBIs right here. 353 the batting average for Steven Strasburg.
And his career batting average now is starting to get up around the 210 mark. He gets jammed on that one, and Carlos Lee is going to go over and get that. Interesting. Last 4 outs for Ricky Nolasco have come on 5 pitches.
You see the article in the Post today by poor Paul Orzelak about the presidents.
Yeah, so sometime soon, Teddy will lose his 500th consecutive race.
Yeah, he's got it at August 18th. He's going to lose for the 500th time. And the running total right now is Abe 202, George 154, Tom 152.
Does that include today?
It includes today. Tom just won his 152nd race. And Teddy, I think you know his total.
He's the 62 Mets of presidential races. You know, at least the Mets won like 40 games that year.
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Gosh. Washington Generals against the Globetrotters.
Hey,
I don't think they ever beat the Trotters, did they?
I'll just say this, and you say it about a starting pitcher that loses 20 games. You have to be doing something right to be around that long to lose 500 races.
Yeah. He has not, as far as we know, spent 1 day competing at Syracuse. Probably goes to Harrisburg or Potomac for promotional purposes only. And Lombardozzi has a base hit. Steve will drop one in front of Brian Peterson, and he's on for the second time today. A nice approach by Steve, slicing it left field way.
Yeah, doing some good leadoff hitting today. On base twice, walk, scored a run in the second. Some carving action right there on the line drive to left. Get inside of it, tails away from the left fielder, base hit.
So here's Bryce Harper, who singled his last time. Nats have 6 hits today, 3 of them to go with a walk and a hit batter in that second inning to tally 4 times. Right down the middle. Marlins looking for a double play. Harper's hit into 5 only because he hits the ball hard. If he doesn't hit it hard at somebody, he beats it out easily. Just like last night. Counts even 1-1. Hot hitter on deck. Bottom of the 4th. Ryan Zimmerman hit the ball really hard last time to Jose Reyes. Two and 1.
Well, according to your theory, Bryce Harper is going to have a big series against the Diamondbacks, right? Las Vegas, desert.
Well, the D-backs are in Phoenix, but it's not far from home.
I mean,
you know his folks are going to be there.
Like I said, Zimmerman lived by the ocean. He plays good against the Marlins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bryce is going snake hunting in Phoenix. Big breaking ball. Big swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Nolasco gets in with off speed again, and Bryce breaks his bat on home plate.
And a big curveball right here from Nolasco. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and then pounds home plate, and watch the reaction from Nolasco.
Well, he picked up 2 of the pieces. There were a couple of other slivers. And for Ricky Nolasco, he has struck out Harper twice and 3 total in the game. And here's Ryan Zimmerman. Ooh, he was waiting for that one. We saw the play earlier this year at first base when Zach Greinke failed to get a runner, slammed the ball to the turf because he was mad at himself. Umpire took it the other way and threw him out of the game. Have you ever seen a guy thrown out for slamming his bat on home plate?
On a called third strike, absolutely. Yeah. Swinging third strike, you know, you're obviously mad at yourself, and there's no doubt, but that'll definitely get the attention of your opponent every single time.
And 0-2 now to Ryan Zimmerman, who's been a great 2-strike hitter lately. Nolasco's been bending the breaking ball way outside when he gets a right-hander. 0-2. He's done it to Michael Morse today. Let's see how he approaches Zimmerman. Bombardozzi at first, 2 outs. Yep, there he goes, breaking ball away. 2 Ks in the inning, 4 on the day for Ricky Nolasco, who has settled down. And the Nats still have that 4-run lead into the 5th inning. Exception, and this is our DynCorp International Troop recognition. At DynCorp, we serve today for a better tomorrow. And thanks to those families, we have some freedoms to hold on to. Never want to take them for granted here at the ballpark. They're here every day. Ruggiano, Solano, Buck, top of the 5th. Strasburg, first pitch breaking ball, just missing. Steven threw 4, and he struck out Ruggiano first time up. 59 pitches, 38 strikes.
And he's doing something today that I didn't think he was capable of, and that's pitching to contact. And I say that in all due respect because his stuff's so good. It's tough for whoever he's pitching against to put the ball in play. He gets lots of strikeouts. He has to work hard for those strikeouts. But today, for the most part, the Marlins are putting the ball in play. And that's a good thing for Strasburg. That'll get him deeper into games, get him more decisions, and take a lot less stress to do it.
He had that economical game in New York a couple of starts ago, but that was with a lot of strikeouts. Today, just 4, and that's great. 3 ground ball outs in the 4th inning. He's retired 9, actually 11 now, of the last 12 Florida hitters, Miami hitters. And a 2-2 to Ruggiano. He just goes gas and strikes him out. So that hitter twice today, 5 in the game. Steven, 159 Ks on the year.
Pitch number 64 of the day from Strasburg, 97 miles an hour.
Wow.
On the black.
Doesn't look like a guy who's 0-2 with a 7 ERA in his last 3 starts. And then, of course, those are numbers at home. That outstanding game he had on the road in New York that I mentioned. And that's low and away to Donovan Solano, who lined out hard to center and was robbed of a hit by Bryce Harper, first time up.
I think Mike Rizzo made a great point when he was up here last time, saying that, hey, he's a young guy, he's learning every single start, and it's a learning process every time he goes out there. You take something away from your last start, apply it to your next start, and I think he's learning as he goes that he doesn't have to be perfect, and if something doesn't go his way, so what? You know, I'm a pretty good pitcher, and if I don't get a call, so what? You know, if they smoke a line drive on my fastball, so what? You know, I'm going to get right back in that strike zone and be the pitcher that I am. And that's part of the learning curve, to know that, hey, you don't have to be perfect every single time out, and you don't have to miss every single bat with every pitch.
Misses on 4 in a row to Donovan Solano, and that's his first walk today. Strasburg, 34th walk in 125 innings. Number 8 hitter John Buck, the catcher, next, and Flores will give him a breather here. Let's go inside the numbers with Kia Motors. High quality, stylish, dependable vehicles. Visit kia.com for more. And since the All-Star break, now that they've gutted their team to a certain extent, the Marlins are having a hard time scoring. Cleveland's been in a slump lately. They've lost 8 in a row coming into today. And then, of course, the Astros, Carlos Lee, left them to come here with the fish. And that's another one that misses to John Buck.
Well, with everybody else going to the Dodgers, I wonder if Carlos Lee's having second thoughts about nixing that trade. It's a pretty good ball club they got all of a sudden. They've been good all year. They just got better.
6 in a row. Here comes Steve McCatty. This is the bottom of the order. So a bit of a bump in the road here in the 5th inning. Strasburg making his 22nd start.
This might be more of a breather than anything else. Obviously, McCatty saw something mechanically with Strasburg. Go out there. You know, you have your keys with different pitchers if you're a pitching coach. The one thing you know you can tell them, the one thing you see from the dugout that's going wrong. And more times than not, Steve McCatty goes out there with a quick fix. And Gio Gonzalez might be seeing something right now, too. Edwin Jackson. Those guys are always watching each other, giving each other tips between innings.
And the strike percentage after a McCatty visit continues to rise. I actually had a fan at our little forum yesterday come up and say, does FP have real numbers on that? I said, I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure it happens every time.
Well, we don't have real numbers. We just make it up.
It's pretty close, though, and there's another quality fastball. In fact, FP, he not only throws 2 strikes, he paints outside edge with both of these.
Maybe slowed him down a little bit, kept his front side closed longer, but hey, you just love to see Gio Gonzalez, Edwin Jackson all around Steve McCatty watching one of their buddies out there and trying to figure out what the problem was all of a sudden.
2-2 pitch now. And how about that? Front door with a breaking ball to strike him out. Kane number 6, and now he gets to face the pitcher with 2 down.
Well, a big out for obvious reasons. Good sequence, couple of fastballs away to the curveball for a strikeout. But if Buck reaches with Nolasco up, he's probably going to sacrifice bunt, get a couple of guys into scoring position. In a 4-0 game, that curveball right there, just not fair.
Ricky Nolasco struck out looking first time. Back in the 60s, for a short period of time, the Chicago Cubs did not have a manager. They had what they called a college of coaches. I think there's one of those in the first base dugout right now. We have a Professor McCaddy, and his guys helping him out, and they're figuring some things out watching their guy pitch, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And there's no better coach than your teammates. Obviously, the Nats with one of the best staffs in baseball. Everybody works hard, does a great job at what they do. But when it comes from one of your peers that you sit next to on the plane, sit next to on the bus, your locker's right next to him, and they say, hey, man, you should have done this or you could have done that. There's things that players can say to players that maybe coaches can't, to where you'll offend somebody. But, you know, if it's your boy and a guy you hang with, you know, anything goes.
2 balls and a strike to Ricky Nolasco. Donovan Solano still at first base, 2 outs. Strasburg misses, 3-1. Steven pawing away with his right spike at that landing area. At the knees, 3-2. Runner will be on the move. The Marlins have had 2 men make it to second base. That's it today. 2 hits and a walk. And that is up the middle. Espinosa. Can he throw him out? Yes, he can. Danny bails out Strasburg, saves him some pitches with an outstanding play up the middle. Bottom of the 5th coming up. 4-0. Strasburg a 2-hitter so far. Place a deposit on a full season ticket plan for next year. You'll get postseason ticket purchase priority this year. Go to nationals.com/2013 or call 202-675-NATS. The offer expires in the middle of September on the 15th. Some restrictions do apply. Adam LaRoche walk in an RBI, 2 RBI single today, and he's just been amazing on this homestand. It all started against the lefty Cole Hamels.
At first pitch fastball, ambush piece. Then Brad Hand was greeted with a home run. How about Mark Burley? So a lot of left-on-left matchups not going the way the pitcher wanted them to. Definitely going the way Adam Cool did. So 4 home runs in the last 4 days. As said in the open, last 12 games, 19 for 44, 432, 7 home runs, 14 RBI, and a hug from your son, priceless.
So he's up in the top 3 in the league in home runs now. More home runs than Andrew McCutchen. That'll add some fuel to the fire on the debate.
Well, September's the month where MVPs are made, so stay tuned.
walk and a 2-run single today. Pretty good changeup on the first pitch by Ricky Nolasco, who's thrown 68 pitches, 43 strikes in 5 innings. He's retired 7 of the last 8 Nats since LaRoche's hit. Quite a ball game in Atlanta. Houston still battling away, top of the 6th, trailing 1-0 with a man aboard, 1 out. Nats looking for some more help where they head there tonight. In fact, Justin Maxwell's at the plate right now.
He can hit.
He did last night.
Did you see how far that home run went?
Oh, that kid's strong.
In Atlanta, left field, almost upper deck, just missed.
Adam LaRoche on a changeup, got his bat slowed down. Who wants it? Center fielder Justin Ruggiano. First out, bottom of the 5th. So the Nats on to Minute Maid Park starting tomorrow night. Edwin Jackson and Dallas Keuchel. Ross Detweiler, Jordan Lyles on Tuesday. Gio goes against Armando Galarraga Wednesday night. And then Jordan Zimmerman Thursday against Lucas Harrell, who beat the Braves in that game last night. So 4 night games in Houston and then on to Chase Field in Phoenix. So a lot of indoor baseball for the Nats for the next week. And going to Houston and Phoenix this time of the year, that suits us just fine. Strike. Michael Morse 0 for 2, strikeout, fly ball to right. Made the last out of the 1st and the 2nd. Waited for that breaking ball, punished it up the middle, and Michael Morse has a 14-game hitting streak. He's 19 for 57 over that time, hitting right at .333.
I mean, you have to get a knock on your bobblehead day, don't you? I mean, he's done a nice job lately of keeping his hands back on the off speed out over the plate. Getting some good extension, rifling a single up the middle. And the hits keep coming for the middle of the order. And there's the bobblehead. Or is that him on first? No, he's got the bat in his hand. That's the bobblehead.
How long before the Smithsonian calls to get one of those?
They should have a Smithsonian of bobbleheads. I'd go.
We've got some pretty cool sports stuff not far from here. So Jason Worth, a base hit, a run scored, and a line drive to right. I mean, these guys in the middle of this order are taking some quality at bats these days. On the appeal, Lance Barksdale says no swing.
I'm going to show that again. That was just a check swing, but when you break your wrist and you got pins and plates in it, this is not an easy thing to do. Hold your bat up. So that's a test that Jason Worth just passed.
Yeah. That ball's well hit, but it's hanging up for Ruggiano in center field. Boy, Jason Worth is back. That's close at first and safe. Morse did get back.
Well, we've heard all about Ruggiano and his swing, but his arm today has been unbelievable. I didn't know he had that.
And by the way, the Marlins were upset right there. First base umpire Lance Barksdale just stood there, gave no call whatsoever. Carlos Lee thought it was close enough to deserve a call, then finally out and said safe.
For whatever reason, Barksdale looked at Adrian Johnson, and I think it was his call. But look at the arm from Ruggiano once again. And that was closer than close at first.
So Lance stands there. Field and Culbreth didn't make a motion. Ooh, that was close.
Very close.
So here's Danny Espinosa. Hit by a pitch, grounded out to first. Off speed, low and inside.
Another good at bat from Werth. Nothing to show.
I'm telling you, he looks great. And it was interesting. About a week and a half ago, he said, you know what? I don't want to come back until I'm ready. I'm not going to rush anything. He did make it back for the final game of the Phillies series, but he said it's not that big of a deal for me to play against them. The important thing is to come back at the right time. And evidently, he was ready. Because he has not been overmatched in any single at bat yet.
Yeah, but when you think about how he got hurt and the reaction from Philly fans here at Nats Park when he got hurt, I guarantee you somewhere inside he wanted to play his first game against the Phillies.
Well, and I think he was asked the question, is it important to you to get back? You know, and he did get back for the final game of the series. But, you know, he probably doesn't even make that quote unless somebody asked him that specific question. But, you know, there's some fire still burning in that one.
Absolutely.
And there should be when fans get out of line and say ignorant things like that to a ball player. By the way, Houston, a run in the 6th. And runners at second and third, one out. They've tied that game in Atlanta. It's a fastball that misses. And Danny Espinosa works it to 3-1. Last night, the Nats rallied within minutes of when Houston closed out that game.
And with a 4-0 lead right now, if you're at home, you can channel your inner rally napkin south towards Atlanta if you like.
Way inside. Look out. 2 outs. You know how dangerous this ball club is. And for Ricky Nolasco, his 3rd walk today. Doesn't look like the phone in their bullpen has rung. If Jesus Flores gets on base, it will. Jesus today, a fly ball to center. It was deep enough to move up a couple of runners, and then Strasburg drove them both in with a single. And then he popped up to third the other time. Boy, nothing would be better for Jesus than a 2-out. What do you call them? Ribeyes?
Steak.
Yeah.
Knock.
RBI, ribeye. Get a run home here. Good breaking ball by Nolasco, who's in the mid-80s now on his pitch count. He's beaten the Nats 9 times in his career, 9-4 in 15 starts. So he pitches long enough to get a decision nearly every time. Flores on a take and a slide by Buck to save it.
I mean, you hit 8th in front of Steven Strasburg. You're not an 8-hole hitter on that day. You're just another hitter in the lineup. Right now, Jesus Flores, with a mere mortal on deck, might be getting pitched a little bit different because Strasburg shows he can hit. Already got a couple of RBIs in this game. You might get something out over the plate right here if you're Flores.
And he lines it right at Donovan Solano. Nats will strand a couple. They've left 7. Strasburg puts down the bat, picks up the glove and the ball in a moment. Why more people choose Cox high-speed internet. Check it out at Cox.com today. So Michael Morse checks in 1 for 3 today. He's on that 1 hit per game thing, but a 14-game streak. Adam LaRoche up to his tricks again. Steven Strasburg, well, in football they'd say he's doing well on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, we said at the outset, 4 starts after giving up 4+ earned runs. Strasburg is 3-0 with a 1.13 ERA. A big reason has been the command of the changeup today that he didn't have his last outing. Curveball's been good, fastball's been 95 to 97, so got it all going on here. 79 pitches, 47 for strikes so far.
Kind of interesting, FP. 40 pitches first time through the order, 39 second time through. So kind of a very good flow, very consistent day he's having so far. Just a walk and 2 hits. Top of the order. Here's Brian Peterson. He's lined out hard to short and grounded out sharply to second base. Best pitch in baseball. Moving fastball for strike 1. That was his 80th pitch. Strasburg this year has gone 6 innings 15 times. He's gone 7 innings 5 times.
Well, you would think after throwing 65 pitches his last outing that if Davey Johnson wants to extend him today, he could.
They want the ball up. It's inside. Flores was nearly standing up there. Steven has struck out 6. 5 of them from the 6th hitter on down. So he's overmatched the bottom of the Miami lineup today. Not afraid to pitch to contact to the other guys. So the Miami box has a first inning Scott Cousins double with 1 out. A 1-out Jose Reyes hitting streak extending single in the 4th. And a 1-out walk to Donovan Solano 1 inning later. That is it. Ground ball Zimmerman. Ryan's got it. Right on target to LaRoche. They have to start tallying the ground ball outs. He didn't get one until the last out of the 3rd inning. So that's 6 now.
And that's something you normally don't even think about with a Steven Strasburg start. Fly ball guy, power pitcher, strikeout guy today. 6 ground ball outs.
Scott Cousins 1 for 2 with that double. Strasburg right now has retired 15 of the last 17 Miami hitters.
You know what I think about every time people talk about shutting Steven Strasburg down? Jordan Zimmerman getting pitcher of the month in July.
Yep.
He was shut down last year, and you're seeing where he's at a year later after that. And when you talk about the big picture and where this guy's going to be at this time next year and where that guy right there is right now, I think that's all you really need to know.
Yeah, there's a pretty good blueprint, isn't there?
Yes.
And it's really not even a blueprint. It's something that's been constructed working off of a plan. And now the plan about to kick its way back in, no matter what the so-called experts think. I saw 2 guys on a network yesterday stand on the set for 10 minutes. 10 minutes talking about all the things the Nationals should do with Steven Strasburg. And I'm thinking, where have you guys been all week?
I would make him get in a car and drive to Arizona and back to miss 3 starts so that he can pitch in the postseason.
Yeah. Because I think Gia monsters really help a guy at this time of the season. You know, whatever. It's crazy. Reyes with a base hit up the middle. And Davey was asked about it yesterday again at our season ticket holders event. And he said, I'm not going to take a guy out of his routine because the risk of injury takes a quantum leap when you do that. You keep him on a plan, you keep him on a program, and then when it's time, you listen to your medical people because they know a whole lot more than I do. And that's what Davies said, almost quoting verbatim yesterday. Jose Reyes with a tapper, and a count of 2 balls and 1 strike here in the 6th.
Well, I went to WebMD once on the internet, and I think they should let him pitch the whole season.
And other people
I've heard that
played,
one too, by the way.
I hear a lot of people in Hollywood who've played doctors on TV have an opinion on this thing.
Well, I thought
where's Marcus Welby when we need him?
I thought Mike Rizzo explained it beautifully when he was up here last time Strasburg started, saying, hey, there's a lot more that goes into it than people can even imagine.
Ball near the bag, Lombardozzi. He's going to turn a 4-3 double play. Hard to do against Jose Reyes. And that is it for the Marlins in the top of the 6th inning. Number 88 for the Nats. Room service right there. On a warm day, what is greater for a pitcher than to get 2 outs on 1 pitch? Lombardozzi turning that one. And it's very obvious, I think, FP, there's been some carryover from what happened here last night to this game today, probably on both sides, but nothing but momentum for the home team.
Yeah, and even though the Nationals won last night, that takes a lot of energy out of a ball club to mount the comeback that they did, and you were wondering how they would come out day game after night game. I think they've answered it. Guys have been on point. Good defense behind Strasburg. And you count the double play for 2 ground ball outs, and that's 8 right now for Strasburg. So 8 ground ball outs from a guy that usually has about 8 strikeouts at this time of the game.
And that will be his final total for the day as Roger Bernardina hits for Steven Strasburg here in the bottom of the 6th. Craig Stammen. Then, if needed, the back of the bullpen is set up. Roger Bernardina on an 0-1 pitch. Lays down a bunt, but it's too close to the catcher. And John Buck throws him out. Nats box. And you'll see Steven Strasburg in the number 9 spot because of that big 2-run single he had back in the 2nd. But Adam LaRoche checks in with a couple of RBIs. The pitcher does. Hits up and down the lineup. Guys all over the bases, pressuring the Marlins throughout the game. And that's what the Nats offense is capable of. So a 3-hit, no-run outing through 6 for Strasburg, who strikes out, walks 1, strikes out 6, and gets a double play ball. 91 pitches, 58 strikes. .55 strikes, pardon me. And meanwhile, Ricky Nolasco starting his 4th time around the order with Lombardozzi here. Four-pitch walk. Maybe trying to get the offense refired. Lombardozzi looks like a true leadoff guy. He's been on base 3 times today. taking 2 walks when they gave him and getting a base hit. Next weekend, Washington Capitals Day at Fitzner Stadium down in Woodbridge. Hall of Fame defender Rod Langway signing autographs. The Red Rockets, a special pregame performance, and Slapshot will be roaming the stands in Woodbridge. Called the Potomac Nationals.
Bryce Harper just walked up to the plate, apologized to Fielding Colbreth for slamming his bat on the plate last time.
Lombardozzi running, and a great throw by John Buck. He is gone. 2-6 on the caught stealing.
You said it. Great throw by John Buck. Laser beam right on the money. And I don't think this was close. Got a good pitch to throw on, kind of a modified pitch out right there by Nolasco. Got him by a couple of steps.
2 quick outs now here in the 6th, and Bryce Harper the hitter. That was ball 1 to him.
A funny sequence. Bo Porter came off the field when Bryce broke his bat on the plate. Fielding Colbreth grabbed Bo Porter. They had a little discussion. And I wonder if Bo Porter went up to Bryce Harper and said, hey, man, you can't do that on the field, especially when your team's ahead by 4 runs. And we talk about Strasburg and a learning experience every time he goes out there. And same thing holds true for Bryce.
The emotion of youth.
That was a good move by Bryce. Walk up there, seal the deal, tell him you're sorry, and move on.
Harper 1 for 3, couple of strikeouts and a well-hit single to right field. 2-2 pitch. And Nolasco went with a straight change, missed 82. Well, Ryan Zimmerman, if the Nats can keep something going here with 2 outs. They've been good at that lately. Harper up the middle. That's a hit. And Bryce Harper is 2 for 4. And he makes a big round to the bag. And Ruggiano thought about throwing behind him for a moment. And Bryce in the series has 4 hits.
Well, as soon as that got through, I'm thinking Bryce is thinking double. We've seen him do it before. Rolls a ball through the infield, especially up the middle. Right out of the box, he's thinking double. Not happy with just a single. And we've seen the arm from Ruggiano today a couple of times, and that's probably what Bryce was thinking right about there when he hit the brakes.
Well, he's thinking any base hit that is not right at an outfielder, I'm going to go till they stop me. And that's what he did.
That's the right way to think.
Ryan Zimmerman 1 for 3 today. Infield hit. And a chopper that comes back and hits him. The Braves have the bases loaded with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Paul Janisch is the hitter in a tie game, 1-1 down there at Turner Field. Hey, I admit it, guilty as charged. We're doing a lot of scoreboard watching these days. It's one of the fun things about being in the race. And now the Braves have scored a run to take a 2-1 lead. Zimmerman lays off that heartbreaking ball. Nats by 4. Harper a very short lead. I'm sure John Buck's most recent throw might have something to do with that.
When you score 4 runs early in a game and you've beaten a team a couple of times and you can add on throughout the course of a game 1 or 2 more runs, it's a backbreaker, and that's what I'm sure Davey Johnson wants to do right here, and that's why he sent Lombardozzi, trying to get another run across the plate, a little add-on piece.
And Zimmerman hits it high in the air out to center. It'll play for Ruggiano, who keeps drifting. You think the ball's not carrying today? Ryan didn't hit that ball that well, and it went about 375. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Hyundai, if it's stylish, intelligent, safe, and affordable, it's probably a Hyundai. Come on, folks, give it a try. Come on. Awfully tempting on a 90-plus August afternoon here in Washington, D.C.
Niagara Falls is beautiful this time of year.
Craig Stammen takes over. 4-run lead. For a while, Jose Reyes is out of the way thanks to the double play ball. So Carlos Lee leads off the 7th. Greg Dobbs and Justin Ruggiano to follow.
Stammen, a 3-pitch guy, 2-seam fastball, 90 to 92. Slider in the upper 80s and the curveball in the upper 70s.
So Strasburg goes 6 innings for the 16th time this year. In line for his 12th win, but a lot of work to be done yet. And Carlos Lee will just hook this ball down the left field line. That big man can flat out hit at the age of 36. Kind of undergoing a power outage this year with only 6. But he is just a good hitter, and that's an 11-game streak for him. He came from Houston with cash for infielder Matt Dominguez and left-handed pitcher Bob Rasmussen on July 4th. So he's at second base with nobody out, and the hitter will be Greg Dobbs. Craig Stammen, by the way, has thrown the second most innings of any reliever in the National League with 59. So he's had a very busy season, and he gives up a ball heading for the gap there. Harper's going to have to pick it up as it rolls toward the scoreboard. And the Marlins, on just a couple of pitches, are on the board, something they couldn't do for 6 innings.
Now, how many times have I said it this year as a hitter, when you have a pitcher that's dealing out there, it's no offense to the guy that comes in, but you just want to see anybody else but Steven Strasburg if you're the Miami Marlins right now.
And Jim Lett is walking toward the bullpen phone, anticipating a ring. Bunch of guys out there stretching. And this has happened on 3 pitches. Here's Ruggiano. It's now a 3-run game with a runner in scoring position. They are on the attack. This one looks playable. Adam LaRoche is over there. He'll be called off by Lombardozzi for the first out. So 4 pitches, 2 hits, and an out. That'll bring in Donovan Solano. Solano has a mini hitting streak on the line today, 4 games. He's 5 for his last 17. Harper took the extension of that hitting streak away from him back in the second with that great play in center. And then Solano walked by Strasburg in the 5th, his only pass of the day. So the Braves cashed in 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th at home, and they lead Houston now 4-1. There's that good slider Craig's been throwing all year.
That's a hitter. You face a guy that throws 97, 98, dropping nasty curveballs and changeups at you all day. And anybody you face by comparison, the ball looks a little bit bigger than it did your first 2 at-bats. And it's no knock on the stuff of whoever comes in after a guy like Strasburg, but the ball does look a little bit bigger.
Fastball is up 2-1. And as you approach the bottom of the batting order, you don't want to see Craig go to 3 balls, 1 strike here. John Buck is a large man on deck with home run power. I mean, he represents the tying run suddenly. And that's on the inside corner, and Solano didn't like that call at all.
And backup slider, 82. Started down the middle, actually backed up a little bit to the inner half.
And a 2-2 outside. Tell you one thing that's happened here. Ricky Nolasco, with 4 consecutive zeros on the board and only 3 hits, has done a good job of settling this game down for Miami to keep them within range. He's thrown 101 pitches. Chad Godin on the left and Steve Cishek, the subject of some controversy last night. There was some wondering out loud on the other side of the infield why Cishek didn't come in to pitch to Danny Espinosa last night after Tyler Moore tied the game. Mike Dunn, the lefty, stayed in, and Danny took him, and I mean deep.
Yeah, we've seen it all year long. Managers turning Espinosa around when they get a chance.
Tough play for Zimmerman. Bare hand, he does it, and look at the throw. Cannot tell you how tough of a play that is with a guy who runs well heading for first base.
Well, it's all about how you catch that ball with your bare hand. Do you get the seams? Do you get a good grip on it? Especially when it's hopping as high as that one was. So that was a little bit hot. And Ryan Zimmerman decided to go with a bare hand. Perfect throw, right on the money. Making it look easy, and that wasn't. And there's the key right there. Caught it flush, caught it clean. Get the seams, let it rip.
That is outstanding. Here's Buck. First pitch, swing and a miss, and a breaking ball away. John Buck has struck out twice today, so he might be the happiest of all Marlins to see Strasburg done. Pitcher spot is up next.
And there's times on a bare hand play when even when you catch the ball, it's still halfway in your hand or it's down on your fingertips and you're throwing a change up to first base because you don't have a good grip. If it lands solidly in the palm of your hand, it allows you to throw the ball with some velocity, and that one did.
So Austin Kearns to hit for Nolasco if the inning goes that far. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Buck will flare one right field line, and it is foul.
Well, I think the pitch here from Craig Stammen to John Buck is that slider down the way, maybe in the dirt. And when you got a guy like Jesus Flores back there and a runner on third, you can throw it.
Nats on top, 4-1, top of the 7th. And a big run sitting at third base right now with 2 outs.
Do a couple of things. You go that 2-seam fastball in on Buck, maybe for a ball, and then go back to the slider. You go the well right now and throw your best out pitch. That slider down and away to righties. You're going in.
Yep, target is in. Just off the plate.
And that's to set up the slider away. You can bank on it.
So the luxury of being ahead in the count, 1-2. No need to be in a huge hurry. Michael Gonzalez is warming, but the Marlins do have a right-handed hitter on deck, as we mentioned. They don't have any lefties on their bench.
Going back in.
And Stammen strikes out John Buck, leaving a big run at third base. So the Marlins get on the board. And the 7th inning stretch is brought to you by Hyundai. If it's stylish, intelligent, safe, and affordable, it's probably a Hyundai. The Nats have LaRoche, Morrison, Worth, 30,453 here today. One of them's getting a nice treat. Dodge. Go to Dodge.com or visit your local Dodge dealer this week. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, serving the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, the Department of Defense, and their families, federally insured by NCUA. Sunday afternoon in our nation's capital. LaRoche, Morrison, Worth on deck, and so are the Houston Astros starting tomorrow night. How about an 8 o'clock date at Minute Maid Park? Edwin Jackson has given up 3 earned runs or less in 15 of his 20 starts this year. He's 6-7, and the Astros will be throwing a rookie left-hander, Dallas Keuchel, who's 1-4 and has given up 18 earned runs in his last 3 starts. It's a Hitters Park 7:30 Nats Extra. Dallas Keuchel goes against the Nats tomorrow night.
Dallas pitching in Houston.
So this would be a beautiful one to grab today. The Nats will get their 65th win of the year. A major step toward that a moment ago. And here's Chad Gaudin, who can throw the daylights out of the ball. But with the Nats, he always had control issues. I mean, the guy can throw high 90s.
Yeah, fastball slider change. Fastball averaging 92 miles an hour this year. Slider at 80. And he likes his change up to lefties. And that's in the mid 80s too. He's got his work cut out for him here in the 7th inning. LaRoche, Morse, and Worth.
Well, the Nats hit 4 homers last night, looking for their first one today. And every time they hit one, $200 donated to the Children's National Medical Center, thanks to our Washington area Lexus dealers.
Tyler Clippard has thrown the last 3 days, and it'll be interesting to see if the score stays the way it is.
You think Drew Storen could be a closer today?
That's what I was getting to. Sean Burnett getting loose for the 8th. And I wonder if Drew Storen has a save opportunity for the first time upon his return today. He's walking around the mound, getting a little bit loose, standing right next to Jim Lett.
Going to have to happen sooner or later, isn't it?
It is, and we'll see. Long way to go before that.
So Craig Stammen does give up a run on 2 hits, but gets through that 7th inning. Big strikeout of John Buck. And now it's up to the offense maybe to go out and get that run right back. Adam LaRoche, Michael Morse, and Jason Worth for Washington, bottom of the 7th. Bouncer up the middle. There's your shift.
What new?
And Adam LaRoche is just hitting them where they aren't.
When you're locked, you're locked. The other night he had a ball down the left field line. It tailed away from the left fielder. It dropped. And you got the shift on. But shift or not, that's a base hit right up the middle. And the hits keep coming for Adam LaRoche.
2 for 4 career now against Chad Godin. Carlos Lee is getting really tired of having conversations with Nationals hitters at first base this weekend. So that's 9 hits today. Here's Morse, base hit up the middle cleanly last time. And Michael hits one to short that could be 2. Reyes with a good feed to Solano, and they go 6-4-3. So a lot of early count attacking by the Nats here in the 7th. Today's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. 2 outs, bases empty. Jason Worth, the hitter. 3 quality at bats today. Hard ground ball to left for a base hit. Line drives to right and to center. And he goes up hacking. 0 for 2 career against Godin. Marlins have their pitcher spot due up to lead off the 8th. Godin was with the Nats part of 09, 33 games with a 3.20 ERA. And then parts of 2010 and 11. Actually, in 11, just 10 games. And a 6.48 ERA. And as we mentioned, a guy who can really throw. 10 strikeouts and 8 walks.
His time with the Nationals, it was just a matter of keeping that fastball down in the zone. He had a tendency to leave it up, get behind in the count.
Great slider. How quick was that 7th inning thanks to the double play. So it's up to the Nats bullpen now with a 4-1 lead. Mason. Who but W.B. Mason? So into the 8th inning, this one goes. Getaway day for the Nats. On their way to Houston, the Marlins are heading for New York. And let's have a look at our Cholula hot sauce pitching recap.
Pretty hot, 97, fastball away to Justin Ruggiano, strikeout in the 5th inning. The hardest fastball that Strasburg threw all day. A little cut to it, good pitch, bringing the heat and the flavor.
And here's Sean Burnett, Nats' 3rd pitcher of the day. So the bullpen's all set up. Hey, what's better than heat and flavor?
Heat, flavor,
velocity.
Yeah, location.
So here's Nick Green, and this may be a name you remember from a while ago. 32nd rounder for the Braves back in '98 out of Georgia Perimeter College. Atlanta, Tampa Bay, the Yankees, Seattle, Boston, Dodgers, Blue Jays. And this year, he was hitting .344 at New Orleans when they just called him up. He goes to short. Espinoza over to first to throw him out. And a quick out to start the 8th inning. So Nick Green, 33 years of age now, back in the big leagues. Not for long on that at bat. And now Brian Peterson and Scott Cousins, the next two. Peterson 0 for 3 today. Line drive to short. 2 balls on the ground.
I've been saying it all season long in the 8th inning. Just put 0-1 on the scoreboard for Sean Burnett and save everybody some time.
That's what the hitters must feel like. Ball game 2 hours and 24 minutes old right now as we hit the 4 o'clock hour. Nationals Park, nice crowd, 30,453. Many of them have shifted up where there's some shade. They saw a 4-run explosion in the 2nd inning thanks to a Steven Strasburg 2-run opposite field single, and then an Adam LaRoche 2-run single right up the middle. They've tried every shift lately on LaRoche, and he keeps finding holes when he's not hitting it over the scoreboard.
The crowd's in a massive shift right now. Everybody on the left field line because there's shade.
Smart. 2 outs, Sean Burnett. The other thing is that puts you closer to the Metro.
Check out the 2-strike slider from Sean Burnett, down and away. Looks like a strike, breaks off the plate. Thanks for coming.
Bringing the heat and the flavor, Cholula hot sauce with our pitch track. Now Cousins, who has 2 of the 3 Miami hits today, and it's important to get him, make Jose Reyes lead off the 9th. Trying to bunt for a hit. Burnett pounces, bare hand throw, yes.
It's a good athlete right there. Tough to bunt on Sean Burnett. Off the mound quick, bare hands the ball, makes a perfect throw to Adam LaRoche to end the 8th. And the 8th inning last night is when Danny Espinosa did some serious damage. He'll be batting left-handed here today, but right-handed. Off a Dunn, got a slider out over the plate, rode it out of here for a 3-run blast, made the game 9-6 and sent the crowd into a frenzy, and he got himself a curtain call. Bryce Harper would hit a home run right after him, so back-to-back jacks to make it 10-7.
Nationals lead Major League Baseball. In the 8th inning or later, they've come from behind to win 11 games this year. That is amazing.
And that's a great feeling to have as a ball club, to know that no matter what the score is, no matter how many runs you're down, you always have a chance to come back, and you feel like it's just a matter of time.
You know, just remembering recent years and things that pop up on the stat sheet, and there's Steve Cishek, who will throw for the Marlins here in the 8th. In a typical baseball season, you win like 1 or 2 games a year when you're trailing after 8 innings, and these guys have won double figures. It's amazing. I mean, some teams win 1 or 2, some win 4 or 5, but when behind after 8 or during the 8th inning, it's almost impossible these days.
Well, it speaks to a few things. The confidence and the swagger they have as a ball club now, not hoping they win, not expecting to win, that they know they're going to win every single day they take the field. And I think when you have a no-panic manager, as a ball club, you reflect that. So if you're behind, you look at your skipper. He's not panicking. Well, we're not going to panic either, because we all know we're going to figure out a way to get it done.
Davey said yesterday, managing that 86 Mets team taught him to never give up when you're behind. And he said, of course, this year I've learned that even if you're way ahead, something can happen. So keep pressing the issue and keep playing well. And the crowd just started laughing because they knew exactly what game he was talking about.
Well, the only time he panicked in '86 is when his ball club was either on an airplane or in a hotel, because that was the craziest group to ever play.
He did mention a couple of guys on that team and said his biggest challenge managing that team was knowing where some of those guys were.
Yeah.
But, you know, he had a Boy Scout on that team named Ray Knight, who he never had to worry about.
Oh, the stories that Ray has, the stories that Davey has from the 1986 Mets. Yeah, knowing where they are around game time.
Yeah, it helps if they're in the ballpark.
But you ask Ray and anybody that played for him on that team, and I had a few friends that did, they were all business once they crossed the lines.
Yeah. You don't win a championship if you're not. Heard the same thing about those Oakland A's teams in the early 70s. They won 3 in a row, fighting with each other, arguing. Boy, it's step between the lines, man.
Even in the early 2000s.
2 balls and a strike to Espinosa. And he pulls it right side to his left, Solano. First out. Don't forget about the Third Eye Blind concert. That's on our next home stand. The Nats are leaving for a week and a half, and that's 2 weeks from last night. Tickets start as low as $10. Nationals.com/concerts. Check it out and join us for the 3rd in our concert series. And don't forget, just in case you did, Dierks Bentley is coming. He's got a makeup date of his own in September.
Dirk alert, September 22nd, I believe.
It's in there to Jesus Flores, who's 0 for 3. Chad Tracy will get an AB here in a moment. And up the middle, Flores gets a base hit. Good for him. Hit a line drive last time at the second baseman. So Jesus will check in with a 1 for 4 day, and that'll get Chad Tracy in there with a man on.
I swung the bat good all day today. Lined out to center field his first time up. As you just said, lined out to second base his last time up. A base hit up the middle here for a nice 1 for 4 day. That's a good salvage for Jesus Flores.
So Sean Burnett goes an inning with a strikeout. Chad Tracy against Steve Cishek. First career meeting between the two. I'm sure he's seen some videotape of this sidewinder. Chad having a fine year. Good to see him back healthy now. It's like getting a couple of free agents when he and Worth came back. .300 as a pinch hitter this year with a home run, 9 RBIs. Off the end of the bat and unreachable. Braves have added on at home against Houston, 5-1, 7th inning. Nats attempting to take care of their business. Tracy will lift it right side. The Braves are going to Philadelphia tomorrow, and they'll throw Ben Sheets against Vance Worley in a night game. So while the Nats are in the Central out in Houston, the Braves will stay in the division and take on the Phils. And I know, and there's a strike to Tracy. Came back to the outside corner. I know you don't like to do it, but you have to root for Philadelphia for the next 3 days.
Well, based on the pennant races that I've been in, if you're in first place, you just take care of business yourself and you really don't care about anything else that's going on around you. I think when you're in second or third, that's when you scoreboard watch, maybe when you start to get to September. But right now, if you're in first place, come get me.
Yeah. Top of the order, and Steve Lombardozzi's had a good day. 2 walks, a single. He's 1 for 2. And Cishek sounded like he hit him. Lombardozzi is hit by that pitch, and Bryce Harper will bat with 2 men on.
Yeah, tough when you're a sidearm pitcher to get the ball all the way across to the other side. Yeah, usually 3/4 guys, sidearm guys will miss on the right-hand side of the batter's box, but he pulled that fastball across and just got Lombardozzi and gives Bryce Harper another chance.
Bryce Harper singled against Cishek in the game here, game 2 on Friday night.
Are they going to check Buck or Cishek right here?
I think John Buck might be the one hurt.
Yeah, he got that one on the ricochet right off his right hand. I'm going to check it out one more time. The ball hit Lombardozzi right on the jersey, and look at the ricochet. Bam. Oh. Ring finger, pinky finger. And we're going to see if he can throw right here.
He nods yes. So the Nats up by 3. Drew Storen is hot. Resting out in the bullpen right now. He'll throw a couple more when the half inning is over. But they could deliver a knockout blow right here. Bryce 2 for 4 today. 30th RBI of the year last night on his 10th home run. 0 for 1, actually 1 for 2 now, career against Cishek with that base hit Friday night. And that's on the corner. Now just a little maintenance to stay loose for Drew Storen. Closers have to know how to pace themselves out there and not leave it out there before they come in when there's a bit of a pause.
I think it always fascinated me as a player to wonder what was going through a closer's mind as they get ready for the 9th inning in a 3-run save with runners in scoring position. Are they rooting for another run, or do they want it to stay a save opportunity? Yeah, I always used to razz my guys and say, hey, you were rooting for me to make an out right there. I know you were. So you could get a save. But
did they ever admit it?
I don't think these guys think like that nowadays. They just want to get a win. They're in first place, and that's all that matters.
Cool. Two balls and a strike, so Harper has the count in his favor. Flores at second, Lombardozzi at first. And nothing but outer edge attempted by Cishek here. He got the first one. And unless he wants to face Ryan Zimmerman, he'll have to throw a strike here. Flores got the 1-out hit. Lombardozzi hit by a pitch with 2 outs. Way outside, and the bases are loaded. And Harper's on for the 3rd time today.
And Cishek either having command control right now or didn't show a lot of interest in the left-hander, Bryce Harper. Ryan Zimmerman 1 for 4 right now, but he hit a bullet for an out to Jose Reyes, which turned out to be a huge play in this baseball game. He pretended like he dropped it. Had the double play right in front of him at second base with a doubled up Lombardozzi. They kept the ending alive for Adam LaRoche, who got a big 2-out hit.
When you're away from this area, take your favorite device with you. If you sign up for MLB.tv, you get baseball everywhere. Live online games, HD quality. Check it out at Nationals.com. Zimmerman 1 for 4 today. And a chopper left side, charged by Dobbs. And Zimmerman skirts by Carlos Lee. I think they both thought the other was going the other way. So this one's going to the top of the 9th. And here comes Drew Storen. For a 4-3 homestand, Drew Storen, first save opportunity of the year. That'll give Johnny and Ray something to talk about. Nats Extra Postgame Show presented by WB Mason when this one is over. Reyes, Lee, and Dobbs, the 3 best hitters in the Miami lineup. This will not be easy.
Well, Drew Storen takes the ball for the 9th time this year. 43 saves a year ago. His first save opportunity in 2012. 3 pitches, fastball, slider, an occasional change. Last year, the fastball averaged 95 miles an hour. This year, just shy of 94.
And he struggled here Friday afternoon in Game 1. He gave up a double to Reyes, walked Lee, and Austin Kearns. So he's going to see a couple of guys here that he faced on Friday and was unable to retire. It's what makes this closer's job so fascinating. Matchups one day don't go your way. A couple of days later, here you are right back late in the game against some of those same guys. National League East, looks like the Braves are on their way. They've scored another run and lead 5-1 to stay 3 back. The Mets have seemingly been on the West Coast forever. They're underway at San Diego. Marlins, Nats could knock them to 16.5 back and possibly last place. Phillies at last report tied late with the Diamondbacks. Jose Reyes and Drew Storen. So Reyes in his career 3 for 5. against the Nats right-hander. First pitch slider stays up and away. Jose Reyes 1 for 3 today, extending his hitting streak. Longest in the majors this year to 24 games. And he'll go to his old stomping grounds tomorrow to try to go 25 and beyond. Fastball, a good one.
Good changeup right there from Storen, 87 miles an hour. How about adding that to your repertoire?
That was unexpected.
Well, primarily fastball slider last year. Toyed with the change at the end of the season. And if he can keep throwing that 87 mile an hour changeup like that, look out. Wow.
A good hitter almost brought to his knees on that one. Target is in. Usually means heater. Oh, he goes hard slider and strikes him out down around his shoe tops. What a repertoire that was to a good hitter.
Fastball away, changeup, slider in. And there's the killer slider you've been waiting for all season long, down and into Jose Reyes after a nasty changeup before that. Gets strike 3. I would think if you room with Tyler Clippard, just by osmosis alone, you would have a changeup. I mean, it just got to kind of happen, right?
Yeah, I guess. Carlos Lee 1 for 3 today with a double. And against Drew Storen, he's 1 for 3. Lee left side. Zimmerman on a hop. And 2 down.
Now, Steven Strasburg pitched a great game today, but if Drew Storen can get through the 9th, I think this is the story of this game.
And that changeup will be a big revelation as part of that story. I bet you that got Ray Knight's attention for Nats Extra.
Well, it got everybody on their feet.
So 2 outs, bases empty. Dobbs 1 for 3 with an RBI double.
Listen to the Drew chant going. I love it.
And the Nats are trying to go ahead in the season series against these guys. 7-6 after a dramatic win last night. Low and inside to Dobbs. And Greg Dobbs in his career 2 for 7 against Drew Storen with 3 strikeouts. Nats are trying to win their 65th game of the year in game number 107.
Everybody on the top step checking out their closer.
Hey, these starters know how important this is, don't they?
I think everybody does. Drew Storen back in the saddle, going for save number 1.
One ball and 1 strike to Greg Dobbs. And a swing and a miss. 86 downstairs.
Another good changeup from Storen. .86 miles an hour down in the zone. A couple of Marlins hitters saying, I didn't know he had that.
Wow. About 5 miles an hour harder than Clippard's. And then he bounces the slider. His arm is live today, isn't it?
That's just a fired up overthrow. That's all that was, getting into the moment. Going for his first save of the year, a little overamped, let it rip.
Two balls and 2 strikes. And a drive to right. Dobbs will keep the Marlins alive with his second hit of the day. Hey, that guy's used to batting late in the game against closers.
Yeah, took a little off the slider, left it up.
Justin Ruggiano will be next. He was 0 for 3 today against Strasburg. A couple of strikeouts and a foul out. Has never faced Drew Storen. Everybody wants to take a picture of this first save if it happens. Runner goes, sway of the grounder, right side. Lombardozzi, and the Nats win the series 3 out of 4. And Drew Storen, welcome back to the save column.
How fitting is that? Drew Storen, number 22, with his first save of the year, and the Nats go to 22 games over 500, their highest point of the year.
Thank you for that one, Mr. Mathematician. Everything happening well for the Nats now after they turned that baby around last night. And it's on to Houston after a 4-3 homestand.